teaming up. I'd like to buy your company.
$600,000.
Well, folks, it looks like Floyd and Curtis might be bringing Sauce Bosses to an end in the extended trailer for the show's return on November 12th. KC, TJ, TK, I forget the dude's name, but the businessman who came in and is seemingly trying to push Floyd to the side in order to stroke Curtis's ego in order to get a hand in Sauce Bosses, is offering $600,000 to buy the company, basically buy out Sauce Bosses. Now, in my trailer breakdown, I went over how this probably won't happen because when you really think about it, for the past 3 or 4 seasons, Curtis and Floyd's entire storyline has revolved around Sauce Bosses. Now, keep in mind, if they did sell out, my big question is, so what exactly would Curtis and Floyd do then? What would their storyline be? I mean, it's $300K for each of them, even though I did say that, well, with Curtis being Curtis, do you think this is a situation where he's going to hear 600K and think 600K as in 600K for me and me alone? Or is he rightfully going to say, well, Floyd and I are partners, so it's 300K each? We know how Curtis is. But then I feel like the conflict is going to be Floyd not wanting to sell out and Curtis wanting it because this could be, you know, that huge retirement for him and Ella, since they, you know, he's retired. She's been a stay-at-home mom and wife this entire time. So this 300K could be their next nest egg. So, wait, if I remember correctly, a couple seasons ago, when they renewed their vows on their anniversary or something, I think Ella was ticked off because Curtis wanted to go on like this vacation. Like, wasn't it like going to various places around the world or something? But then Ella wanted to donate the money to the church because they needed it, which is interesting because I never liked that idea. And it's funny how the church turned on Ella when I think Victoria was her name. You know, the woman that was being physically hurt by her husband, who was the deacon at the church. Man, that's crazy work. So I don't know if they ever got that money back, but essentially this money could set them up. But here's the thing, though. I think that Floyd is going to be iffy about it, not just because he doesn't want to sell the business, but he doesn't trust this dude. He never has. And I wonder if Ella's going to try to chime in with some common sense as well, because, you know, maybe Floyd feels like, I don't know, Curtis, man, I feel like 600K isn't enough, because if he's willing to pay 600K to buy us out, then he sees potential in our business, meaning that if we play our cards right, we could be making way more than 600K. And I wonder how this is going to impact their decision making, because when you really think about it, I don't think 600K is a lot for Sauce Bosses. But the thing is, Floyd and Curtis, well, mainly Curtis, let's be real, I could think of at least half a dozen times where this show has given us an episode where Curtis and Floyd have had the opportunity to cash in on Sauce Bosses. I think one of the first times was when an interested party wanted to pay a bunch of money for the Sauce Boss recipe, their barbecue recipe. Then they had the opportunity, I think, for like a restaurant. Then the food vlogger came and, you know, they promoted it on there. At first, Curtis messed it up, but then by the end of the episode, they worked things out and their business blew up. But then they had the falling out because Floyd just simply said, hey, the customers are saying there's too much sauce and it's overpowering the meat. Curtis took it personally, and then they got into a fight about it. Then they were on that Shark Tank like show. And then you had the episode where I believe they had the opportunity to be on a local news channel. And in each and every scenario, Curtis dropped the ball because he was selfish. He didn't understand modern social media technology. He felt like, you know, this was his show, not him and Floyd's. And he fumbled the bag so many times that him and Floyd could have been making well over $1 million by now. So for him to possibly consider 600K being the I want to do it, Floyd, I don't think that's right. But like I said, I just feel like KC wouldn't be like, I probably messed his name up, but I'm just going to call him Q or KC or whatever. I don't think he'd offer that much money unless he saw the potential to make a massive return on the investment. And I remember it was stated he's a multimillionaire because, you know, he runs a bunch of businesses. And my theory was what he probably does is when he sees people coming to his business seminars, he cherry picks people who are ignorant. Like they have a product that he sees potential in, but that person doesn't really know how to untap it yet. So he coerces them, you know, takes them out to dinner, tells them everything they want to hear. Sometimes possibly even swindles them. And in other cases, he lowballs them an offer to buy them out, because if someone has been working on a business for like 10 or 12 years and, you know, they're making some money, but, you know, not a whole lot, and somebody comes in and gives them a 6-figure offer, they're more than likely going to take that money. And I think that's how he's made his millions. So I really look at it from the angle of it's not always a swindle. Let's be real. I sell on eBay. I've been doing it for almost 10 years now. Sometimes I'll find something and I'll sell it because, well, it's just collecting dust and it's making space to get rid of it. Oh, I made $50, but then I turn around and somebody flips it for like 300, either because they have different avenues to sell it, or the value of that item increases out of nowhere, or they just sell it to another person in person for a higher price because the person in person doesn't know any better. That's how it goes. But yeah, I just feel like Sauce Bosses selling it wouldn't be the best move, because that would just end the barbecue storyline. Now, keep in mind, even if they sold the business, that doesn't mean Floyd and Curtis still couldn't cook. I mean, I'm sure they could have their food truck or whatever, but KC would probably get a cut of it, you know, for using the sauce. But then again, I don't really think that's how it works, because, you know, if I had a barbecue truck and I use Sweet Baby Ray's barbecue, the money that they get from me is the money that I use to buy their product from the store. But I don't know. But yeah, do you think that Curtis will be interested in selling for 600K? Do you think Floyd will be against it? Do you think Ella's going to chime in? And honestly, this does go back to that part of the trailer where Curtis and Floyd are looking over some paperwork, and then that's when KC tells them about the 600K. So I hope they read that fine print, because I don't know. It just seems like this is a bit too sketchy for me. But like and subscribe, and I'll catch you all in the next video.